Welcome back, everybody. I am the NNA's 33, and we're here for the LFG Season 3, Episode 2 review. Now, kind of opens up with Shiloh Hill having his match with Lexus King, and he went on to, win Season 2 of LFG, and he's on NXT, so they showed, started off with that story to show, hey, it's possible you want to be like these guys. But it had like Drake Monroe talking about, how he's been there, he's seen all his friends move on, he wants to know when it's going to be his time. But before we get to all that with Drake Monroe, I'm going to start off with our first match of the evening. Which was Carlee Bright versus Layla Diggs. Natalya was coaching up Carlee Bright, and Kevin Owens was coaching up Layla Diggs. So Carlee has been there for about, I think, like 2 years. I think they said the same thing with Layla Diggs. So they're still fairly new to the business. Layla Diggs and Carlee Bright are also on Evolve, which I watch, and I do a live stream 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesdays right here on EOD 33 Wrestling Hub. Cheap plug. All right, back to the action. Natalya was basically asking Carlee, like, what does she think? Like, what would she like to do? And she said she want to be a little bit more selfish, blah, blah, blah. And for me, by watching Evolve, I actually thought she was almost the second coming of Kendall Gray. But now we'll go to Layla Diggs. Kevin Owens, Layla Diggs wants to work some heel. So he was just basically telling him, like, doesn't mean like, it just means that whatever you're doing, you're like confident, you're just like more over-expressive. And I actually did get to see Layla Diggs wrestle heel back in November 2025 in a 6-woman tag match. And she looked pretty good and everything. She was like aggressive. Let me see. Do I want to say everybody was involved in the match? All right, I'll just say everybody was involved in the match. It was a 6-woman tag match. It was Nikita Lyons, Mason Holloway, Layla Diggs versus Callie Armstrong, Tyra May Still, and Xena Starling. That was actually my first time seeing Xena Starling also. But before she debuted on Evolve. And they did a pretty good job. She did wrestle aggressively, I thought, and everything. It was like different than what I would see on Evolve. Anyway, they had their match. I thought their match was pretty good. In fact, at one point I was watching it and I was thinking, which one is the heel? Because Carlee Bright was kind of aggressive in that match and everything. She was talking her ish and everything, like, who want, do you want the contract, or who wants, or something like that to the effect when the match first started. I was like, okay. But yeah, they were both good. I thought they were both crisp and everything. Carlee Bright, turns out she was a gymnast and a cheerleader. We all know Layla Diggs. She was in sports. I think she was on track and field when she was in college. So the match was pretty good. And Natalya and Kevin Owens had nothing but praise for both ladies. It's just a shame that we kind of already know where Carlee Bright's story is going to end, unless she swerved everybody. But before the premiere episode, Carlee Bright did say that she was no longer with the WWE. So I don't know why anybody would lie about that, but yeah. So it's kind of heartbreaking when you kind of see like the stories and the fact that she did do well and on the PWF panel, which I'm usually on like live, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PWF Wrestling. So check us out over there. We were always saying that Carlee Bright was the second coming of Kendall Gray, that she was like just a step below her, but I guess Brass didn't think the same way we thought. But yeah, so that was a good opening. All right, our next match of the evening was a tag team match. They made sure they put an emphasis on the fact that it was the first tag team match of the season. So I'm a little biased, but they had my boys, Harley Riggins and Jax Presley from Evolve versus Harlem Lewis. And his name has changed since this episode, but what he went by here is Mike DeRudder, who, if you watch Evolve, is now Dorian Van Dukes. So we're just going to say Mike DeRudder for now and everything. Since if you're watching the episode, that's what he is. But his name has been changed. And well, before I get into that, I'll just talk about this match. Basically, who the coaches? For Jack Presley and Riggins, Booker T was coaching them up, while Kevin, KO was doing Frank DeRudder and Harlem Lewis. For those of you who don't know, like they've been Presley and Riggins has been a tag team for like a hot minute on Evolve, and they're pretty funny together. On the panel, the PWF panel, we call them the Disney Bullies because they kind of have that mold. They're like kind of like Disney bullies if you watch any Disney like teen movie and stuff like that. So that's what they remind me of. So I kind of like them. So Lewis and Harlem Lewis and DeRudder, this was like kind of like their first time tagging up, and they were working babyface while Riggins and Harley were working or Jack Presley and Harley Riggins were working heel, or so we thought, because they're wrestling, and Booker T did make a comment. He's like, I don't know which ones are the faces in this group. Harley, Riggins, and Presley beat these boys down for about 4 minutes straight. We have seen this on Evolve, and Booker T's commentary is basically saying that the heels, they look good, but you also got to make the faces look good too. And it's like they weren't doing that. And while watching the match, yeah, they dominated them. They look good, but it's like, yeah, they didn't put the other guys over at all. At the end of the match, Riggins was kind of feeling himself a little bit, and I guess he spit on Harlem Lewis. And Harlem Lewis was about to take him out right there, right after the match in front of the whole crowd. And Booker T was like, look, you can't do that. No matter like what happens, you can't let the audience see that. And KO was like, yeah, he didn't even see what happened. The only reason he even knew what happened was because Harlem Lewis went back in the ring and tried to do something. So I guess Booker T was like, oh, they're shooting. As in, this is real. It's not part of the act. So he said, look, if you ever have a problem like that, you got to wait till you go back to curtain, and then you handle it. However you're going to handle it, how you handle it. But you don't do it in front of the crowd. So that was that. I thought it was a good match and everything. And Riggins, I don't know. Riggins, like he just said, he felt it in the moment. Like that's something he should do. I mean, he is supposed to be a heel, so but yeah, spit on somebody without them. Yeah, that's a little much. That's a little bit much, Riggins. It's a little bit much. But that leads us to the main event of the evening. All right, the main event of the evening was Drake Monroe versus Nathan Crankston. All right, for Nathan, well, I'm gonna start with Nathan Crankston first because he has also had a name change since this episode. Those of you who might not know, that is Tristan Angels. That's his name, Tristan Angel. He was a former Mr. England, like legit, like a real Mr. England. Booker T was supposed to be his coach, while Bubba Ray was Drake Monroe's coach. And Coach Bloom basically told him that, look, this is a sink or swim match for Drake Monroe. Like he's been here for about 3 years. He's either got to put up or shut up, because if he don't do well in this match, that might be it for him, because his contract's almost over, all that good stuff. So that was like the drama of the episode. Like it started at the beginning, kind of talked a little bit about it, but now we got the main event. I was feeling kind of hesitant with my boy. Bubba Ray loves him. Like they say, everybody loves Drake Monroe, but he's gotta show them something. So they had this match. Booker T was tasked to make Tristan Angel as a heel, and he looked at him. He was like, "This guy, he's a good looking dude or whatever." He's like, "This guy, he's only been in business about 2 years. He's a sheep, like comes from he's like a 7th generation sheep farmer from overseas." But he met him. He talked to him a little bit. He said, "Yeah, he used to watch wrestling, like with his grandfather. So Booker T asked him, like, basically, oh, well, what did you think about it? He said, okay, yeah. He's like, I kind of knew it was predetermined, but I didn't care and everything. He said, I didn't care that it was like predetermined. I didn't make them more or less of a man and blah, blah, blah. Booker T really liked him, and Booker T said, this guy right here, he's got something. And, you know, Booker T's got a good eye for talent and everything. At first he was hesitant. Then when he met him and everything, they had their first match, or when they had the match, Nathan Cranton came out there. He looked like he's been doing this for a while. He really looked like he belonged in this element. He came in with the heel swagger, looking like a young Triple H, looking like a Jean-Paul Levesque. He did the little curtsy and everything. I don't know if that was supposed to be because of Triple H or because Booker T's royalty, you know, King Booker and stuff like that. But they had, to me, I thought they had a really good match, and they were really, I thought, especially Cranton, he was really selling it. He really looked like he belonged. Like, he didn't look like a rookie whatsoever to me. Drake Monroe, he's a big guy, so he's like a powerhouse and everything. He was selling the moves like to his leg and stuff like that. I thought the match was pretty good. I actually thought Cranton actually showed me more than the Drake Monroe does. I like Drake Monroe, but Cranton, there's something about that guy. Okay, at the end of the match, Bubba Ray asked Drake Monroe, "Did you give it everything you had? Did you give it everything you had? Is there anything you could have done better?" And Monroe was like, "No." And Bubba was like, "All right, that's what I want to hear. That means that like you did as best you possibly could do. So if they let you go, at least you know you went out doing all you could do." Next day, Shawn Michaels called Drake Monroe in the office. He was like, "Blah, blah, blah, everybody likes you. You've been here for about like 3 years, but unfortunately, there's nothing left. They don't have anything for him at the PC Center." So Drake Monroe was like, man, his heart dropped. It's like, yeah. But what they're gonna do is they're sending him down to AAA with The Undertaker. So he still has a job and everything. He's gonna be on the AAA roster. I was so relieved because I really liked the limited times I saw him on Evolve. Drake Monroe, he's got something about him. I like the Bayou thing he's got going on. He's really from Louisiana. He's got the party thing going. So it was good. I was feeling bad for him because I thought they were about to let him go, for real. But he managed to survive. He's going to AAA. So you have the main roster. So think of it, it's like the main roster. It's like, it's above NXT, and it's congruent to SmackDown and Raw. Like, Raw and SmackDown are the main roster, but so is AAA. But AAA is primarily based in Mexico. That is their show in Mexico, and it's a big thing in Mexico. So you don't look at it like a demotion or anything like that. He got called up. He got called up to AAA. And right now, to be honest, we do AAA reviews over here, and they're cooking down in AAA. Storyline with the El Grande Americanos, it's probably the best storyline they got going on in the WWE right now. So yeah. Drake Monroe's been he's been saved. He's been called up. He's got his contract, not to NXT, but it's to AAA. So he says, not a goodbye, it's a see you later, alligator. That's one of his catchphrases, which I like. So I'm really happy for him. And Nathan Cranton doesn't have a contract yet, but I'll give like some spoilers. He has been recently called up to the NXT roster as of like 2 weeks ago of this recording. So there's that. So anyway, but let me see what else is going on. I'm trying to think, anybody else? No, that's about it. That was it. That was the ones that were featured on this episode. I don't believe we got a preview for next episode or not. Yeah, I was trying to keep the review a little shorter than this, but yeah. But anyway, that's it. LFG is great, especially if you like watching Evolve on Tubi's on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's free, and you get to see a lot of these guys and girls on that program. So it's like, you want to see what they're doing, the stuff that they're teaching them on LFG, that they're putting in practice, you got to watch Evolve. It's a good show. They got a good storylines going on over there. And you want to catch them before they're stars and everything. So you can be like, yeah, I was there for their entire career. But anyway, that's it for me. I hope you all have a good day, good night, and a pleasant tomorrow. Make sure you stay kind to one another. Make sure you wash your hands. But like I always say, you should have been doing all those things anyway. Don't forget, I go live on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mondays for Monday Night Raw. Tuesdays for NXT. Wednesdays for Evolve. We do watch-alongs for the whole program. And on Saturdays, permitting, there's not a PLE. We do AAA, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. Until next time, I'll see you later, alligator.